Hello and welcome to another video with Gamers Class, guys. This is Shizzy Dota here, and this video is going to be about the Major. These are 6 things that I learned watching the Major. I took some time off and I watched the Major entirely. I watched it for entertainment, and as I was watching it, I did watch a few replays to increase my Dota knowledge and just like overall learning about the game. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about those 6 things that I learned, and I'm pretty sure these things are going to help you out as well in your pubs. If you apply these into your pubs, your games will be that much easier.
If you like this type of content, go to gamersclass.com. For just $9.99 a month, watch masterclasses with pro players, join exclusive live sessions, and get 24/7 access to coaches and other high MMR players. Get full control of your ranked games and start owning with our Supreme Dota 2 membership.
So the first thing that I want to talk about is your starting items as a mid laner. So in this game, Abid goes for 1 Mantle, 1 Circlet, 2 Iron Branches, and a Fairy Fire with a Salve. So the idea about this, what I can think is that he starts with a Salve, so he does not have to call out a Salve from his courier. As you guys know, the courier moves slowly if you are calling out any kind of region like Tango, Salve, or Mangoes, right? So since he has a Salve from the very beginning, he can actually trade with this Morphling at level 1 who only has Tangos, just 1 Tango that he can use with an Iron Branch. In Abid's case here, he has not only those Tangos but a Salve as well. So if he has to entirely commit with this Morph in terms of region, he can win that trade. So he's very strong just from the beginning, at the cost of not buying another Circlet, because the Morph does have 1 more Circlet, and it's fine. It's just 2 attributes, and cost of being aggressive and being sure that you will win the region war from level 1. Now the Morphling does call out itself from the very beginning as well with the bounties, but let's say just in case the Morphs did not get 2 bounties, then this Morph would be really far behind, because he would have to wait some time to buy a Salve, and at that point Abid would just be running into his face and he would have to back off because he knows he does not have a Salve and he can't really trade. So overall, this Salve, from buying it from the very beginning, I actually like it, and I think that this can give you a very big advantage in your laning stage. It also helps you get your bottle way faster. He's already 138 gold. He's already got 138 gold on him, and the Morph has only 33. So Abid is already far ahead in terms of that bottle rush. Both heroes obviously want to rush bottle at mid. So yeah, this does help you in a lot of ways. So guys, the second thing I want to talk about is early rotations as a pause 4, and Crit does it beautifully here. Obviously, in the current meta, everyone expects the lanes to be dual lanes. It's always 2-1-2 in the laning stage, and if you can somehow secure first blood for your team on the side lanes like this, it's a huge advantage. I mean, Fly gets this kill. If Arteezy got it, it would have been way bigger because you can just rush that bottle. But the point is, if you secure first blood like this, mostly on a core, what happens is the core has to TP back, and if he dies again, his game is over. And let's say that doesn't happen. Your core, who gets the kill, who should at least get the kill, not in this case, but that should be the ideal situation where your core gets the kill. He's way far ahead in terms of experience, in terms of gold, and in almost every way. And the best thing about this is that the enemy can never predict this happening, because everyone expects 2-1-2 in the current meta. Even pros cannot see it coming. So just imagine your 3-4k MMR pubs. I'm pretty sure nobody's gonna expect it. And I mean, Crit did it playing Mirana. This could be done way easier, and the best way to do it would be just walk over here into the trees. If you're playing Shaman, maybe a Shaker, maybe a Lion, I don't know, any support really, just stand here, alright, walk from the back, and shackle or stun or whatever the hero you want to kill, and your 2 heroes that are in the lane will also run at that hero, and they will kill him, and they will get first blood. So this rotation as pause 4 is crazy good. It just gives you so much value. It's absolutely insane, and it is something that you want to try out in your pubs as well. So The third thing I want to talk about is harassing the enemy in your lane to win the lane, but to not really get kills. I mean, if you get kills, that's great. If the enemy throw the lane or something, that's great. But the idea should be to harass the enemy to the point where either he has to buy a lot of regen, or he has to play passively, or he is entirely zoned out. And while he is zoned out, you want to deny as many creeps as possible. If you think about it, guys, when you kill someone, what do you get? Gold and experience, right? So let's say if you zone someone out entirely, what are you taking away from the enemy and what are you getting? You're taking away experience from him when you're denying creeps, and you're getting gold when you're free farming. So technically, if you look at it, you're still getting kills in a way, if you entirely zone out the enemy. And this is exactly what Abid does here, and it is something that is just beautiful. If you look at it, he's playing aggressive, he zones out Emo entirely, and look at Emo. He has to play passively, and meanwhile, Abid is just going to deny almost every single creep in the lane. Look at this. Denies on denies. 16-10 on the Storm. The Morph is 7-4. And Abid did this throughout the laning stage, just playing aggressively and entirely zoning out the Morphling. Obviously, he cannot kill the Morphling, and I don't think that should be the goal anyways, even if it's any other hero. The goal should be to harass the enemy to the point where he just cannot lane you. And I think this is something that if you master this mechanic, I just feel like you win every single game below 6k MMR. Because nobody really does this in below 6k. Everyone is just looking for kills. If you play smartly like this, you will probably win every lane. Not probably, you will actually win every lane below 6k MMR. Because people just don't do it in the lower brackets. They don't understand this, and they're just looking for kills. And you will be really far ahead in terms of CS, eventually far ahead in levels, eventually far ahead in terms of items, and then you can use those items to kill the enemies and win the game. It's really that simple. The fourth thing I want to talk about is never committing for kills. Now, over here, you can see the Storm Spirit is actually waiting for the power rune to spawn, and he's pretty low on mana, he's full on HP, and he can see that the enemies are also coming in for the bottle. I mean, they refill the bottle, but they still want this rune. Disruptor has the bottle, Morphling is going for the rune. They don't really want to give the Storm a rune, and Mirana also knows this, and the Mirana is going for the rune as well. So there's obviously gonna be a fight happening for this rune. Now, the main thing is that Abid does not commit entirely for anything apart from the rune. And I want you guys to watch this with me, and I'll explain. So, the beauty of the play here is normally any other Storm Spirit player, what he would have done would be something like, as soon as he sees the arrow getting hit on Disruptor, he would instantly zip onto the Disruptor, like he would pick up this regen, and normally any other Storm Spirit player would think, oh, hey, I have a regen, I'm strong as hell, I can just zip and kill this Disruptor. Okay, so any other Storm Spirit player would zip on this guy, okay, probably waste all his mana, and probably kill the Disruptor as well. But what would happen is that the Phoenix would show up, which he does eventually, and he would run out of mana, pop his regen, but still die. If you notice, he doesn't do any of that. He just walks to the Disruptor, okay, hits him, backs off a bit. He's not committing. If you look at it, he's not committing in any way. Uses pull, then uses Remnant, gets the kill, and uses that 200 mana to get out. Like I said, any other lower experienced player on Storm would actually commit for this kill and die, and the enemy team would actually be happy about this. Pause 5 for pause 2, I would take that trade any day. So I've seen this in a lot of games overall in the major. Players just do not commit for anything. The only thing they actually commit for are bigger pause 1 and pause 2 kills. They never commit for these small pause 5, pause 4 kills, because they don't care. They know their worth, they know their value. And it's something you should know as well when you're going into your pubs. If you're playing pause 1 or pause 2, you have to understand that your kills and your deaths, they matter a lot. So giving them away just for support kills is not worth it. He waits for the shield, and if you notice, he waits for the shield because the disruptor thing, the Thunder Strike, was on him, and potentially the Phoenix could dive him just because it was on him, and he would have vision where he's going, and he waits for the shield and then he zips out. So all in all, this was a insanely big play. Does not look like it, but it's actually a really big play, and the outcome of this play is to like never commit for kills unless it's a big kill like a pause 1 or pause 2. Now the fifth thing I want to talk about is placing wards before going for objectives. This is for mostly for pause 5 and sometimes even pause 4. So before you're going for an objective, it doesn't happen randomly. Sometimes it does, obviously. That's just how pubs are. But in most cases, you know exactly what you want to do before you're making a play, right? So obviously for EG here, for the Dire side, they want to get this tier 1. That's the most important tower that they can get. So what does Fly do here? He buys a ward and he places it here. Now this will give them a lot of info. Who is TPing bottom? Who is hiding in the trees? Like after TPing, is somebody walking to bottom, you know, from here or something? This gives them a lot of info. Loads and loads of info. And he does this so they have this info as they're going for the tower. This also helps Arteezy secure the tower much easier. He doesn't die for no reason. Like, if this ward will not be placed here, Arteezy doesn't know what's happening, and he's going to be very scared. Anyone can TP here. Anyone can walk in from here to here and just like go and kill him. It just puts him into a bad situation. And as a pause 5, you don't want that for your cores. So Fly puts a ward here and makes things easier for himself and his team. And he actually places it far ahead so he can see the tier 2 as well. And eventually, after doing all the shenanigans, they're going to go bottom now and they're actually going to get this tower. Yep. And it's mostly, guys, it's mostly because of this ward. I will be talking about this ward in the next tip as well. So here you can see Fly doing the same thing again, guys. He has a ward. They want to take control of the enemy triangle, and they also want to get Roche because they have Lesh, Beastmaster, Abaddon, Mirana, Storm. And why not? You're so far ahead. You have control over the entire map. Why not go for a rush? So what does Fly do? This is the thing I wanted to talk about before as well. He placed a ward earlier over here. He's going to do the same thing again. He's just going to put a sentry here. He's going to put a ward here. And now he can see what's happening on the tier 1. And he can see what's happening on the tier 2 as well. You can exactly see who's going to TP on the towers. So they have complete info, guys. Complete info on the TPs. That's one thing they can negate. As you're going into a team fight, you have to think about a lot of things. Where are heroes coming in from? What items do they have? Do they have a rune? Are they smoked? So on and so forth. Well, one thing that they don't really have to think about is anyone TPing to the tower? Is anyone going to buy back and TP into the fight? Because they can clearly see if that happens. So they don't really have to worry about it as much. And that's just because of one ward. Literally one ward that has no cost. Absolutely no cost, and one sentry that costs for 75 gold. The amount of value that EG gets out of this is insane. Okay, and it's just from 75 gold, guys. That's what you want to do as a pause 5. So the sixth thing I wanted to talk about was tanking smokes and ganks as pause 5 for your core. You can do this as pause 4 as well, sometimes even as pause 3, but it's mostly done by the pause 5. And I want to show you how beautifully Fly does this, and it entirely wins them the team fight, and which eventually leads them to get Roche as well. And it's a series of plays here. First this ward, then what happens is Fly knows that RTZ wants to get this stack, right? Obviously, they're communicating, they're playing the major finals, they're obviously talking about everything. So, now, the amount of respect that these teams also have for each other is also insane, because Fly knows that IG will not let them get stacks and control of the map entirely just like that. So he's assuming that they're already moving towards it. He can see the Naga here, so he's assuming that, hey, they're close by, and I should be the one tanking all the spells if they're thrown, rather than RTZ tanking them. So RTZ goes for the stack here, and look at what Fly does here. Fly gives him a shield, and he literally just walks over here, and RTZ knows exactly that they're coming by, and he backs off. Normally, what would happen would be, if this was an Abaddon who was just standing over here somewhere, cluelessly, and just saying, oh, Last Shark, I'm gonna shield you, I'm good +5 player, I will shield you, and I will save you, and that's my job. What will happen is that the Morph would wave in, give vision on the Lesh, and the Lesh would get glimpsed into Kinetic Field, Static Storm, and there's no way Abaddon can save a Lesh from that. And the Lesh just dies, right? So this, just walking up here, okay, it gives EG so much value, and this is what will change the course of the game as well. I believe this is the reason why EG won game 1 of the major. Just because of this play. This was the deciding moment of the game. RTZ lives. They have a lot of info. Abed jumps in. And boom. Everyone's dead. Just after killing a pause for Mirano. And now, after this play, EG will get Roche. And guess what? They're in complete control of the game now, and there's no way IG can recover from this fight. So that's the 6 things that I personally learned watching the major, and I hope that you've learned them now as well, and you can apply these into your pubs. I feel like if you do, you'll actually increase MMR, because I personally have increased a lot of MMR as I've learned and watched the major. Apart from that, most of the things that I talked about in this video, they happened in other games as well. The major finals just seem like a better example to show and talk about, I guess. But overall, these things were happening over and over again as I watched most of the replays in the tournament. Even in the wildcard games, I saw it happening. So it is something that these players are doing. They already understand this, and that's why they're 10k, 11k players, and that's why they're at the major. If you apply these into your pubs, I can guarantee your pubs are going to be 10 times easier. Thanks for watching, guys. Until then, have a good time and have a good time grinding, basically. Bye bye.